What's going on, everyone? So, Scream 8 is rumored to be in the beginning stages of development. That they are working through and trying to get that off the ground. There were murmurs from the moment they signed it, Sydney on, that they wanted to make a trilogy. And that's also kind of the new wave. It's kind of the era that we're in, right? You make 3 films. Saw it with Halloween and now The Exorcist and Strangers and all these films that keep coming out, trying to get trilogies out. Also, biggest reason why I believe that there's going to be multiple films. I don't even think they'll stop after this trilogy. I think we may end up getting a little hiatus, but I also think, again, they paid like $500 million for the catalog that had Scream in it. And Scream was the big prize, right? So they haven't even made their money back yet on what they paid. We're going to get a lot more films. And you're already seeing the spinoff for Kirby got announced and all that, right? Like, we're going to end up getting a bunch of Scream movies, and they want to make a series and all that stuff. Like, this is only the beginning. And look, is it possible Scream 8 will be, or like what is rumored right now to be getting in development? That very well could just be the Kirby movie, which would be the 8th Scream film. Now, it wouldn't be the trilogy setup, but that would be the 8th film, so it very well could just be that. I want to make that clear. I want people to understand that as well. So just because, there's rumors going around, first off, you should always take those rumors and everything with a grain of salt, right? Everything's rumor until it's confirmed. But it also could just be the Kirby movie. However, diving into what I want to talk about, right? Let's go under the assumption that we're getting a trilogy, because I don't think they're just going to make 2 more movies. They wanted to make a trilogy with Sam and Tara. Like, the script for Scream 7 supposedly came out, and, people were talking about it, breaking it down. But let's go under the assumption that we are getting a trilogy set up and established with Sidney Prescott. They really need to, treat this as such, right? One, I really want an overarching story, right, with Ghostface, and I've talked about this before on several occasions. I really want to see whether it's the cult route, which they've already set up and established, right? You have, the Dreaded thread and, Jason and Greg being attached to that and wanting to, Richie kind of has this cult following now and all that stuff, right? Even Kirby talked about how, there's all these Ghostface all over that are killing people, and she's specializes in Ghostface attacks, right? We got confirmation that it's not just the Ghostface going after Sam, not just the Ghostface going after Sydney, right? There's a lot of Ghostface that are involved, and they're going after people, right? So lean into that. I'd like this film, Scream 7, to be kind of the setup film. This is the setup film that bleeds in and allows everything else to develop in the next 2, right? And I know, because we've talked about, cliffhangers and, Ghostface reveals and all that stuff in the past, and people are pretty split on it, right? A lot of people want the conclusive ending and stuff. You can kind of do both, though, right? You can do the, the Thanos level threat, where at the end he grabs, he goes, I guess I'll do it myself, right? Type thing, where you can have the conclusiveness of this film, right? Where they take on Ghostface. Ghostface reveals himself. They kill Ghostface. And then, right before Ghostface dies, he's like, oh, you think I was bad? You think that this is it? Oh, you have no idea what's coming. The storm is coming, right? You're about to get the smackdown. We about to show you what's up type thing. I really want that, right? I really, if we really are going to get a trilogy, then let's have some stuff kind of bleed in and lead into the upcoming Scream movie. Have a Ghostface get away, right? All the other Ghostface, they all die, but one of them gets away, right? Say you have 3 Ghostface again, 2 of them die, and one ends up escaping or slipping out, or maybe they do the cliffhanger route with Ghostface. They wanted to do it in Scream 2, at the end of Scream 2, right? When Sydney's walking through the courtyard, and then it pans up to that bell tower. Originally, there was supposed to be a Ghostface in that bell tower, looking down at Sydney, which in hindsight, we know would have been Roman. Do something like that. The other thought is, I wouldn't be shocked at all, and almost expect it that either Gail or Sydney, we're going to have perceived dead. And it's going to be one of those, like, did she just die or did she not? You got to remember, Kevin Williamson is at the helm now. And I'm sure he's writing in the writer's room and all that stuff. Scream 4 was originally supposed to do that with Sydney. They've wanted to tease Sydney's death dating back to Scream 3, right? Like 2 even. It's something that they've always kind of played with, right? Like potentially killing Sydney or having the audience believe that she died, right? If you're going to do a trilogy and you're really planning out and mapping out a trilogy, this would be the time to do that. Right? This would be if you were ever going to do something like that, this would be the time to do that. Where, no, it ends with Gail or Sydney. Like, maybe Gail has like, Scream 6 would have been perfect for that. Right? Instead of Mindy basically spilling the beans and being like, oh, guess what? Gail's alive. Right? If it was left unknown, right? Where did we just watch Gail die or did she survive? Like, what happened? Right? Like, last we saw, she was critical and looked dead. Right? Is it something like that? Like, that was an opportunity. And they blew it. They didn't do that. Right? I think that they should do it for this film, though. I think that they should leave it open. And it's, we leave that theater and we're like, do we just watch? I would actually prefer it to be Sydney because I just think Sydney would be more impactful. I think people would be more outraged. I think it would drive more attention. I think you get more, just media and YouTubers and people talking about it. And I think you'd get more curiosity from just the casual goer once Scream 8 actually does come out. Right? Because people are going to want to know, like, did they really just kill their franchise girl? But I think you do the same thing with Gail, and I think it'd still have the same result. I think it'd still be kind of interesting. I think you do some creative things in that regard. Another thing would be, is there like some big reveal? Do they go like the Stu route? Chad the killer, right? And they have some explanation. Is it, Angela was involved all along? Whatever, right? Like how do they approach this? How do they go about this? Because you got to imagine, if they really are going to set up a trilogy, there's going to be some big twist or some big like reveal or some type of like, oh, no one saw that coming, huh? Right? Like you almost have to, right? If you're really planning a trilogy, if you're really planning on, having this be kind of one continued story, and it's not, I mean, there's two ways, right? You either A, do it like the original trilogy where, say, 7 and 8 are its own thing, and then 9 is the tie-in film that makes it seem like it was, this way all along, right? It was all just one story. But really, it wasn't. It was all, like, each one was its own thing. Or you go the overarching route, where it's just one continued story, right? Like, and, I'm not saying you have to pick up the moment where you left off and all that stuff, right? But, like, have it all kind of tie in together is my thing, right? I'm curious to see how they approach it and what we're going to get out of it. But, they got to do something. They got to be creative, in my opinion, right? Like, if you're really going to set up and establish a trilogy, and this is going to be the beginning of a trilogy, I think you have to. You have to do right. You have to set this up correctly. You can't fumble it, in my opinion. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, and I pass the question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Kind of mixed in the middle. What do you want to see if this really is the beginning stages of a trilogy? Do you kind of have your ideas in mind? How do you feel? Whatever your thoughts are. I'd love to hear it either way. So let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. So we enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel. What are you doing? Hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one.